Hey everybody, welcome to the new installment of the Unlikely Builder. In this video we're going to be installing the rear axle to the chassis via the three links of the three-link suspension. First things first, you got to remove the frame of the panhard bar that comes attached to the chassis via these two bolts and two bolts on the other side. Once you're done with that, you have free access to the attachment points for the rear axle. Here I am using the upper control arm that we built in the previous video and attach it to the upper link of the rear axle. As usual, there's some spacers and there's some wiggling involved in installing those two spacers. I've not figured out a good way to do it. There's a lot of time wasted that I'm sparing you, and a lot of pushing and prodding and using screwdrivers to try to align it. There might be a better way to do it. After all, the motto of the channel is if I can do it, you can do it better. But this is what has worked for me. So here's how I did it, and with some pushing and prodding and wiggling, I was able to put it in. Once it's in, and sometimes some hammering, as you can see here. Once it's in, I put some thread locker, even if it's a self-locking nut as usual, and then I torque it to spec, and we're ready to attach it to the frame. In order to do that, the recommendation is to have a couple of guys helping you move the axle close to the frame. I didn't have the two guys handy, and also I have to say I felt safer having the axle hanging from the two shop cranes and using a kind of jack to move it around. I know it took longer. I'm sparing you some time here. I accelerated the whole video because it's kind of complex, and it's very heavy, and I didn't feel comfortable using people. So once I was able to align it, then it's fairly easy to attach the beginning of the lower control arm, but then you discover that it's misaligned either in height because it's not perfectly level, or kind of left to right. And so it took some wiggling to put in the first one, because I had to put in the very beginning, then align it better, then push it a little more, then align it better, because you don't want to introduce any tension on that bolt, given that it's somewhat of an important bolt. So here I am fiddling and playing for a while until I was able to put it in without too much forcing. And once that is done though, the rest goes in very quickly, because then it's aligned. You can put in the upper control arm. Again, same concept with spacers that requires a little bit of doing and wiggling, but once the upper control arm is connected, then all you're missing is the suspensions and the panhard bar, which will be the subject of the next video, which will finally conclude the series of episodes about the rear axle. As usual, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you like the channel, please subscribe. And if you want to be kept updated with the new videos, please hit on the bell icon. Thank you very much for your support so far, and I'll speak to you next week.